This tea has all the necessary ingredients, but it lacks the most important one: balance.
Hello Internet, my name is Damian Michaels, but you can call me Blue, and welcome back to another episode of Brews. So this week, I'm going to do things just a little bit different than how I've done them in the past, and I'm just going to get straight into the deck tech so we can get into the games as quickly as possible. So this week, we're playing Taigam Master Opportunist. It's 1 and a blue for a 2/2 human monk with Flurry, and whenever you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have Suspend, then it gains Suspend. The whole purpose of this deck is to cast cheap card draw spells to keep your hand full and just keep going, so that way you can eventually start suspending them off of Taigam and drawing more cards and chaining spells together. Eventually, we will get to the point to where the spells start coming off of Suspend with Taigam, and when they do, we can cast more expensive spells later in that turn because we used our first spell casting it off of Taigam for free. So the second spell will get exiled with Taigam. Or we can also, in response to the final Suspend trigger, we can cast an instant before the time counter comes off to cast the spell. So then that first spell is the first spell, and then the Suspend spell is our second spell. So then we get to exile it again, put it back onto the Suspend, get a copy, and keep going. We also have ways to take advantage of the cards that we're copying. Because Taigam exiles the card, and then we get a copy just put straight onto the stack, it's not cast, we can take advantage of things like the Magecraft ability from Strixhaven with, I think it's this one, Archmage Emeritus. Whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, we get to draw a card. So if the card that we suspend with Taigam is an instant or sorcery, then we're going to draw multiple cards off of this just from that one cast. We can also copy the spell that we copy with Errant Street Artist. It's blue for a 0/3 human rogue with Flash, Defender, and Haste, and it has 1 and a blue tap, copy target spell you control that wasn't cast. You may choose new targets for the copy. So it takes a lot for this card to actually get online, but whenever it is online, it is insane. I have had this card copy Expropriate before, and that is just too much value my opponent conceded on the spot. So Errant is really good if we can get her online. The rest of the deck is just cantrips, card draw, things that work well with our game plan, a little bit of ramp. Invasion of Segovia is probably the best creature in the whole deck in my opinion, because being able to give all of our spells Convoke so that way we can continually keep casting them, that's absolutely nuts. So we're just gonna get straight into some games, see what happens, and I'll be back in a bit with the wrap up. All right, so first game with Taigam Master Opportunist, and I actually really like this hand. We have a Think Twice, so I may get to show you guys the flashback trick with how it works with Taigam. We have a Stock Up, which is pretty nice, and we have Errant. It's really early for Errant, so I don't think she's going to do anything now, but whenever she's online in the mid to late game, this is going to be insane, letting us copy the spells that we're getting to recast off of Taigam. But we're going to start with a Sunken Citadel on blue. I don't think I have many lands with abilities, so I'm not entirely sure why I have this in here. But I feel like it's almost a free roll, since it adds a mana for what we need, and sometimes it does more. But I'm going to play the island, and they're playing green-white. There's a chance that they might have something to stop our Taigam, but I do want to get Taigam down before it can't. So I'm going to play Taigam first, and then I'm going to Mox Amber. So this will actually give us a copy of Mox Amber. I know that it's legendary, but this gives us a free spell in a few turns. So I think that there's no reason not to get the extra value. And this has Flash, so we can play it during our opponent's turn. I'm hoping they don't have something. Okay, that's fine. Actually, I don't think we're going to play Errant, because if we don't draw a 1-drop, then we can't put this Stock Up on Suspend. So I think we're going to hold on to Errant since it's free, since it's 1-drop rather, not free, and then we can play the Stock Up. Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. So we're going to Errant, and then Stock Up. We don't get to copy it, unfortunately, because we don't have the 2 mana to pay into Errant, but this is going to be really solid. And I think I'm going to take the Part the Water Veils and the Counter Spell. And I will pass the turn and see what happens. I do like that we have this stock up on Suspend now, because whenever it comes off of Suspend, I feel like that's going to be a really solid card for us to have. Okay, what does this do? Is this Danitha? Okay, Danitha, Capuchin, Paragon. First strike, Vigilance, Lifelink, or as an equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Okay. So, I'm going to play the island. And I'm going to... So, I do want to show you guys the Think Twice trick, but I think instead the correct thing to do is to just Geralt and then Think Twice, draw a card, make a zombie, and Think Twice does get suspended, so it's not in the graveyard for us to flash it back, but it'll eventually come off of Suspend, and then we can cast it from there. What do you do? I don't know. Dragonfire Dive. During your turn, Dion and other knights you control are flying, and then when it enters, create a 2/2 white knight creature token. And then exile it, return it to the battlefield, transformed under its owner control. Okay, so it costs 6 mana to do that, so it's going to be a lot. But it does give knights flying, which is annoying. Ooh, Trellisar, I didn't even notice this was in play. Gross. Growing Rights flips, which is annoying. We're going to draw a tap land. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 mana. We play a land, we have 6. I think we just play a tap land and then pass the turn. We're not going to do anything this turn, hold up Counterspell. Next turn, Mox Amber comes off of Suspend, and then we can part the Water Veil. Or we can Think Twice, or not Think Twice, Seagate Restoration and draw a bunch of cards. And then we'll just have it on Suspend to come off in a couple of turns. I don't think I can let that resolve. So we're going to let that get countered. And... okay, Heliod is annoying, but I think we can deal with that. Eventually, we're going to draw a River's Rebuke, where we can pick everything up. And I think River's Rebuke is one of the best cards to put under Taigam, because then our opponent knows that it's just going to come off as Suspend after a couple of turns, so they don't even want to rebuild after the River's Rebuke, because they're just going to have to put everything back into play again anyway. So I think that's one of the best cards to put under Suspend, because unless they can kill you in 2 turns, I think, it's just free, basically. So we're going to keep the real one, draw a card. That is our first spell. So we're going to start by parting the Water Veil to take an extra turn. I wish I had 1 more mana for Errant, but it's fine. We're going to... do I want to Sleight of Hand? No. Well, what do I get off of Suspend next turn? I get a stock up off of Suspend. That's actually really good. But I am going to hold on to this Sleight of Hand just in case. No, I'm going to cast it. I get another zombie off of Geralt, so Sapphire Medallion's actually pretty good. So we're going to untap, take our extra turn. We get a stock up. We're going to cast the stock up. And that's going to find us a... So See the Truth is actually really good with what we're doing here. So I'm going to take the See the Truth and the Murmuring Mystic. And I'm going to immediately cast this See the Truth. And it's going to get copied by Errant. If I do this right. Yeah, it gives me the stuff. Okay, I didn't have to full control for that. So I'm going to copy this, and I only get 1 card. Then I get this one. Okay, there's a Karn's Temporal Sundering, so there's another extra turn spell for a future turn. Sapphire Medallion. Make another zombie. Play the island. And then no attacks. End the turn. And then if they do anything annoying, we can Otawara, pick something up, or Rapid Hybridization to just destroy it. I'm hoping that they maybe try to flip this, and then we can Hybridization in response. Okay, so they're going to add a bunch of green mana. Okay, so they're going to cast their commander, which I don't even know what it does. When it enters, create Angelo, a legendary 1/1 green and white dog creature token, and then when it attacks, another target creature you control gets +1/+1 until end of turn creature you control. Sure. That's not that bad, is it? Okay, so whenever it attacks. Okay, so it's not just any creature, so I don't have to worry about them just going nuts here. So I'm going to let them attack and see what we can do here. So this needs devotion of 5. It's at 6. So if I pick up... So I'm going to rapid hybridization this Dion, whatever it is. That's going to make everything lose flying. So I'm also going to channel, pick up the Trelisara, which is going to get rid of the devotion requirement. So Heliod is no longer a creature. And then we can effectively block this Danitha with all of our zombies and hopefully kill it. And this should mean that we don't take any damage this turn. We can just get rid of this Danitha, and hopefully we can untap and take a couple turns. Because we're going to think twice, and then I'm going to Karn's Temporal Sundering, copy it with Errant. We're going to go off next turn. There we go. Finally decides how they want to assign the damage. They're going to put the counter on it, but that's not going to save it because we're still going to deal 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 damage to it. So it's fine. It dies either way, so it's okay. They just wasted their counter. Now they can replay Trelisara. Okay, which is exactly what they're going to do. I'm fine with that. So we're going to untap. Our Think Twice is going to come off as Suspend. We're going to draw a card. Then we're going to go to draw step, draw another card. We're going to play a land. We're going to Karn's Temporal Sundering. Okay. Oh. Okay. I'm disappointed that they conceded because I did want to start chaining extra turn spells together. But if they hadn't scooped, then I was going to pick something up. We take an extra turn, copy it with Errant, so we get 2 extra turns. That's going to get us to this part, the Water Veil. And we have this Think Twice in the graveyard, so we can cast that in response to the Suspend trigger. So then we can cast the part, the Water Veil, off of Taigam and then copy it with Errant. We were about to take 5 or 6 turns in a row if they hadn't scooped there. So this was definitely our game to lose, basically. Alright, so game 2 with Taigam, Master Opportunist. And I actually really like this hand. We have Secrets of the Key is another one of our flashback cards that we talked about. We have an extra turn spell. I don't know if this hand does enough, actually. I think I'm going to send it back since we have a free mulligan. And this is infinitely better. We're going to go ahead and keep this. So we have Seagate Restoration, hopefully for a later turn. We're going to... I'm going to drop the island and pass. We're going to Arcane Signet on 2, so that way we can Taigam and then Curate on 3. And I don't like that they already have their commander in play. So this deck actually does a lot, and it's really frustrating because they have a lot of infinite combos with legendary creatures that are no longer legendary, and it's kind of nuts. So we're going to start with Taigam, and then Curate to Surveil 2, draw a card. It's just a... Ooh, I like seeing River's Rebuke. So we're put the Sunken Citadel in the graveyard, keep the Rebuke. And I did mention in game 1 that I think River's Rebuke is one of the best cards to put under Taigam, and I still stand by that. Taigam has so much value when we get a River's Rebuke underneath it, being able to just cast multiple spells. Or I don't know what I'm talking about. River's Rebuke doesn't let us cast multiple spells. It's the delayed second board wipe that puts us so much further ahead whenever we do that. So we're going to play Symmetry Sage. And then we're going to Invasion of Segovia. No, because... Let's sink into Stupor, pick up this Jet, and then make you a 3/3, or a 3/2 rather. Give Symmetry Sage 3 power. And I'm not going to attack because I don't want them to block with Rada Drobic. That's the name. Rada Drobic. Okay, so they're just going to spend their turn replaying Jet, which I'm perfectly fine with. Does this have Death Touch? It does not. So we're just going to block, take our beats, untap, curate, and sink, tick down. 4, 5, 6. I have 6 mana. What does this do? When it deals combat damage to a player, you may exile it, then return it to the battlefield transformed. Okay. So if we let this deal damage to us, then it gets to flip, and I really don't want it to flip. But it has Menace. I don't think I'm going to get to Invasion of Segovia anytime soon. I don't know if this Time Warp is going to do enough either. Really in the tank about this, because we're still 2 turns off before this starts popping off. You know what, let's get the invasion down this turn. Make our tokens. Yeah, you get the tokens too, which I really don't care about. I just want to make sure that this Jet doesn't flip is my main concern. Next turn, I might be able to start doing dumb things. Okay, so Jet cannot hit. That has to be done. Okay, so double block Jet, take the 3 from Rada Drobic, go to 10, Suspend ticks down, we untap, an offer you can't refuse. That doesn't help us. So if I pick up everything that my opponent controls with River's Rebuke, then I effectively get another turn, basically. Yeah, so I'm going to River's Rebuke. Target Symmetry Sage. They're going to pick everything up. Then we're going to go to combat and attack, hit this. We're going to flip it, and we get to cast the Cadus, which is going to exile it, and we get this copy. So, non-token creature spells you cast have Convoke. So next turn, this comes off of Suspend, and then we have Time Warp that we can put underneath it. So I think we're just going to play this, untap, and then hold up. Oh, I'm stupid. I'm a dummy. I didn't have to do that, because we can just tap one of these to pay for the Convoke. I'm so stupid. I'm dumb. I never claimed to be the best Magic player in the world. I never claimed to be a good Magic player. I do know that I cannot an offer you can't refuse that. So I guess this is an offer that they can refuse. So we're going to curate off of Suspend, which is going to make this a 3/3. I like both of these, but I don't want either one. So I'm going to get rid of them both. And we're going to draw a card. I don't hate seeing that. That's pretty good. So I'm going to Time Wipe. Take an extra turn, pay the 5, give this power 3, it gets copied with Taigam, give this power 3, play the island, and then I'm actually going to take an extra turn, pick up Elishnorn, auto pay. So I don't get to deal any damage this turn, but I have 2 extra turns in the bank. Yeah, there it is. So we're going to, so just to walk through this, we have 2 extra turns set up. So we take the first turn that puts, we get our Sink into Stupor, which does nothing. We have nothing to pick up, but we get to untap our stuff. And then the second turn, nothing comes off of Suspend. I'm not convinced that they would have actually died from this. We would have taken probably 3 or 4 turns in a row. Maybe they would have died. I don't know, but that's game 2. All right, game 3 with Taigam, Master Opportunist, and our opponent is playing Ugin, Eye of the Storms. I really don't even want to bother playing this match because I hate playing against Ugin. every time I play against Ugin, it's just this horrible experience of them ramping out Ugin on turn 4 or something, and then I can't do anything for the rest of the game because every time they cast a spell, they just exile my board. I'm gonna play it out for the content, but if I don't like how this game goes, then y'all aren't ever gonna see this footage. But I'm gonna hold on to the Sleight of Hand so I can use it later for Taigam. So I have a cheap spell to cast, and I don't think they're gonna have removal. So I'm just gonna run out Taigam right here and hope for the best. Okay, Field of Ruin. That's not gonna do much. See, they're up to 3 mana already, and let's Mox Amber, and actually, I'm going to go ahead and Sapphire Medallion and put that on Suspend. Then I'm going to Sleight of Hand to get a land and play it and attack for 2, pass the turn. Depending on what they play, they could play Ugin as early as their next turn, and I'm really worried about that. Priz might add 1. This is... Sure, you're allowed to play this card in your deck. Maybe I don't have to be worried about Ugin. They're at 4 mana, so... Prophetic Prism. Okay, I know what Prophetic Prism does. We're up to 5 mana? So, I'm going to play Murmuring Mystic, and then I'm going to cast Jace Reawakened, because I really like Jace on Suspend. We're going to... I like all my cards, so I'm just going to suspend, or plot nothing. No attacks, pass the turn. If Jace gets to stick around, then we can get it up to 6. -6 the turn before the new Jace comes down, and then new Jace gets to immediately start ticking up. Okay, so I'm perfectly fine with that. I did not really want to play this match anyway, so I'm glad that we just kind of took it home pretty easily. Alright, Game 4 with Taigam, Master Opportunist. And I actually don't hate this hand. We have stock up for a future turn. I'd like to draw like a Chrome Mox or a Mox Amber, so that way we can put this stock up on Suspend on turn 3. But I don't mind waiting until turn 4 to cast one of these as well to put the stock up on Suspend. Our opponent's playing Safara Sky's Blade. I'm gonna run out this this whatever this is real quick, and they're gonna play a Plains. See, this was one of my first Brawl commanders whenever Brawl came to Arena. I thought it was actually a really good card. I'm gonna go ahead and run out Taigam. I don't have any protection in my hand anyway, so there's no point in waiting, in my opinion. We could wait to try to draw some protection, but Taigam is one of those commanders where you want to play him as early as possible to start getting value out of him as early as possible, because he takes 4 turns for that first spell to come off as Suspend. So by the time that first spell comes off, if you've waited until 5 or 6 turns to even play Taigam, then it's going to be turn 10 before you get any value out of him. And that's what worries me about it. So that's why I try to play Taigam as a little bit like a turbo deck to try to get him out as soon as possible, so that way we can get some value. In the games where I can't or don't play Taigam on turn 2, I find myself losing those games more often than anything else. And I drew this Hall of Storm Giants just a turn too late, but that's fine, because I didn't actually want to cast this stock up this turn anyway. I'm going to regret this attack, and yep. Okay, that happens, unfortunately. That is unfortunate, not having protection for Taigam, because now we have to take off turn 4, and we can't play this stock up now. We have to replay Taigam to get any value. And that is the problem with this deck. Like, if you just get hit with removal after removal after removal, then you can't progress your board state. But it's what we have to do. We're going to replay Taigam, and we're going to hope for the best. Because if they remove Taigam again, I don't know if we can win this, because paying 6 mana for Taigam is just not reasonable. I'm hoping that they just tap out to play some creatures, and then we can Rapid Hybridization stock up, or enter the Enigma so that way we can attack. unblock, draw a card, stock up, put it under suspend. I want to get at least one card under suspend. So I'm hoping to do at least that so we can get some value out of the second casting of Taigam, because that first casting we got no value. We didn't even get in for that 2 damage because it died immediately. Magda's fine. By the time we're doing our thing, this Magda's not going to matter. So, okay, so it just permanently gains flying. That's fine. So I'm going to play an island. Then I'm going to enter the Enigma on Taigam to draw a card. Then I'm going to stock up, so that way we can put this stock up on suspend. I don't mind you drawing a card. Okay, so... Ooh. I'm going to take Geralt and Jace. I think those are going to be 2 good cards. Then... I kind of want to blow this up. No attacks. I should have attacked, because I forgot that the Enter the Enigma gave it unblockable. I mean, whatever. Last time we attacked, we got Elspeth smited, so maybe it's for the best that we don't attack. We don't know what's going to happen all the time. Okay, so this doesn't just give itself flying. It gives a creature in your deck flying. Okay. So I don't know where that creature is now, because they shuffled their library, but this isn't a terrible card. I opened a lot of Duskmourn. I'm surprised I never saw this. Maybe it's probably because it's an alchemy card. I don't know if I opened that much Duskmourn alchemy. But I did open a lot of regular Duskmourn. Luminous Broodmoth. I think we have to go ahead and blow up this Mangara now, because if we wait, then Luminous Broodmoth just gets it back, and I can't have that. So we're going to take our beats, we're going to untap. Another thing gains flying somewhere in the deck. Although this is kind of a non-bow, giving more of your creatures in the deck flying, so that way you can't get them back with Luminous Broodmoth. Okay, so I'm going to play an island, then we're going to play Geralt, and we're going to play Jace. Like I mentioned, I like having Jace on suspend here for the -6. It's not going to be long for this world because they have a whole bunch of flyers, but that means that they're putting resources into this and not putting resources into my face. So I'm perfectly fine with that. And then I'm also going to go ahead and play out this Storm Chaser's talent this turn, make another zombie, make a prowess token. Even though we can't do much to their flyers, we can definitely muddle up the ground a little bit to prevent this 3/3 from getting in. And I don't mind trading a 3/3 zombie for the 3/3 that we gave them, because they're trading, you know, the card that we gave them for half of a card. Or not even half. Well, at the moment it's half a card, but really it's more like a third of a card, and it's not even that if I get even more value out of Geralt. So we'll see. Let's wait and see what they do. Now, I do realize that they are relying on a bunch of flyers. I noticed that their commander is Safara. I know I mentioned that it was Safara earlier in the video, but I didn't realize how much value they were actually trying to get out of that. Now, what I really want is a River's Rebuke. Okay, so, yes, we're going to trade. I don't mind that at all. And then, yes, you get your 3/3 token back. Good job. Yay! Okay. Draw a card. Then we are going to play the Search for Escata, which is going to trigger Prowess. We're going to Curate. 3, 4, 5. Curate goes on Surveil. Oh, yes, please. I want both of these cards. My god. Okay, so it's going to take at least one more turn for that to come off suspend. So I actually want the Temporal Sundering first. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's the problem, though. I can't do anything about their flyers. Does this have Indestructible itself? Other creatures you control with flying have Indestructible. Okay. So I'm going to make this level 2 to get back this Rapid Hybridization. Then I'm going to tick this up, put this Sleight of Hand on suspend, so that way we have a free spell for next turn. And then I'm going to set a stop. No attacks. end the turn, and then during the upkeep, I'm going to blow up Safara, and hopefully they don't have protection, because then I cry for not doing this on my turn. I think they're looking for something. Okay. And it doesn't come back from the Brood Moth, because it already has flying. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So we got rid of that. So now we're only taking 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is a lot, but it's not dead. So that means that we can do our thing next turn. 5, 6, 7. I have 7 mana. This costs 9. So we can Sleight of Hand, Karn's Temporal Sundering, put it under Suspend, take an extra turn, and then our stock up comes off of Suspend, and then hopefully we have the mana for Expropriate. 5, 6, 7. So we need a land off of the Sleight of Hand, and then a land the turn after we draw, after we play the Sundering. Yeah, kill Jace, that's fine. That's damage not going at our face. I'm perfectly fine with that. Then they're going to send everything else at our face, so they're going to make sure that Jace dies. And yeah, they're going to do that math a little bit better. Yeah, you should send the 3 and the 2 at it instead of the... Okay, or send the 3 and the 3 at it, just like you did a second ago. That's perfectly fine. Whatever. But Jace down, that's fine. I did not expect Jace to actually live through all of that. I expected Jace to die last turn. I'm surprised that he lived that long. But we're going to hope for the best here. But we have a game plan. We just have to get it done. Pass the turn. The problem is if they have Teferi's protection, then it doesn't matter how many turns we take, then we still can't win, which is another issue. I'm hoping they don't have T-Pro. Because if they have Tef Pro, I don't know if we can win that. Because they have this huge board, and then I'm just dead next turn. Next time they get a turn. Aren't I? 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I'm not dead, but I might as well be dead. I'm very close to dead. And they're mostly tapped out. So if we get to go off, then we should be good. Okay, there's not many white cards that can be foretold. What is this? A foretold card? Yes, I'm keeping the Expropriate. And then we draw. So we're going to Sleight of Hand. Take the island. I'm fine with that. Play the island. Then, Karn's Temporal Sundering. We take an extra turn. We're going to pick up the Frog Wizard. Whatever this is. Yeah, the Frog Wizard. We're going to make a thing. We're going to copy it. Attack with everything. Take our extra turn. And I think we're going to steal this because I don't need the Moxander. Oh, wait. I do need the Moxander. I'm an idiot. Whatever. We can use the stock up to find a land, so it's fine. 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's the land, and I'm going to take the Temporal Manipulation for next turn. Oh, and we have the part. Okay, yeah, we're going off. Expropriate, and then we're just going to choose time, and then we'll see what our opponent does. I expect them to concede, but we'll see. Who knows? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We don't have lethal this turn, but we do have lethal next turn. So it doesn't matter what they choose, actually. Unless they have T-Pro, then we just get to swing this turn, swing next turn, and win the game. Sweet. And they realize that. Or they just notice that Expropriate is a very broken Magic card. I don't know why Wizards decided to add this to Arena. I understand that it's not as powerful in 1v1 than it is in like a 4-player game, but this is ridiculous. This is such a good card.
Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, consider tapping that like button. It adds 1 mana to the YouTube algorithm, and I'd greatly appreciate it. While you're down there, feel free to subscribe. It's completely free, you can always change your mind later, and it makes me feel like my videos actually matter to people. If you want to see some more of my content, then you can click the video here to check out the next video, or you can click this playlist over here to set it and forget it. I also make Commander content over at Thursday Night Magic. Head over there for deck tours and Commander gameplay. That's everything for today. Bye for now.